One time, two time for the cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. Rockin' with the best, the cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. Alayela with cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. What's in my body, cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang, cha-cha gang.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and members of the Cha-Cha Nation. Welcome to another episode of the Cha-Cha album review series on the Cha-Cha Music Review Podcast, which is now being brought to you by Absolute Talk Media, your number one online media and digital marketing agency. And of course, my name is Hafeestonova, aka your musical plug, creator of the Energy Force, and this is going to be a special episode because I have two special guests on the podcast with me today, and we'll be talking about the Olamide UY Scuti album. And let me just allow my guests to introduce themselves.
Hi guys, my name is Toby. I'm the host of My Name is Toby podcast.
Hi people, my name is Veracity. I happen to be the host of the Veracity podcast. Nice journey Cha-Cha today, and Toby Chuku.
Thank you so much for being here, the both of you. I'm sure this is something, members of the Cha-Cha Nation, this is something they've been wanting for. They've always told me that they want more ladies on the podcast. So I decided, for the first time ever, let me have two ladies on the podcast. As a matter of fact, this is the first time I'll be having two guests on the podcast, and the two of them are ladies. So this is going to be a special episode.
Wow, woo, that's great.
Making
wow,
history.
what an honor.
Like, look at me making history. Like, I'm going to write down today's date.
All right, so we are here to talk about the Olamide's new album. So the album is titled UY Scuti, and it was released on the 18th of June 2021. The album features the likes of Fave, Layydoe, Jaywillz, and Phyno. Phyno is the only known artist on the album. And then the album has 10 tracks, and the album was produced by P.Prime and Eskeezondbeat. Now, those were the two producers I was able to, find production credit for. I tried looking around, but I couldn't see every other production credit, but those were at least the two producers, that worked on the album. So let me start from Veracity. Let me start from you. Now, when you listened to the album for the first time, what was your impression about the album?
Whoa, I had a whole lot of mixed feeling.
Okay.
When I listened to the album, I was like, wait, is this Olamide or is Whiskey this guy seen as Olamide? I was shocked because that was a total different, brand new Olamide. God, I would say I'm actually impressed. I feel like, wow, he has really, really evolved over the years. He has done a whole lot. Having this new album, goodness, I love it. I just get like that. I totally love his new body of work.
All right, so my name is Toby. So on your first impression on listening to the album, what came to your mind?
So I wouldn't say I was surprised, because listening to the single Rock already gave me an idea that this album is going to be different. What if the album, I was all in my feelings, it was different. Olamide's voice has changed, so now his voice is now like the lyrics of the song, fine, of the song's good, but then his voice moves you. You're all in your feelings. You're feeling every emotion of what he's talking about. I loved it. It was it was music, and he did this thing with other sounds where he would say something and there are all this extra
the ad-libs and the backup.
Yeah, ad-libs there to back them up. So it was everything music should be. I loved it a lot. I don't know, should I say my favorite tracks here? Because
okay, don't let us get into that. We are still going to come into that. We are still talking about feeling about listening to the album for the first time. I'll lie to you, to be honest. The first time I listened to the album, I felt like, okay, wait, is that all? I thought there was going to be more. I felt like the 10 tracks were just too small.
I mean, how would you? I was like, okay, small. Okay, is that the end?
Get? Well, that was my first reaction. Also, wait, is that the end? I had to play it over again. Am I sure I downloaded, the full album? Am I really sure what is going on here? I mean, this thing should be longer than this, but then again, it is what it is. Olamide give us, 10 tracks. Like you rightly said, mentioning your favorite, tracks on the album. Let me just allow you go into that. But let's do it like this. You mentioned your favorite track, and you mentioned the track that also didn't, make it for you. If there is any track like that,
My favorite on the album, my absolute favorite, is Julie. My only problem was with Julie is that it was too short. I'm going to have personal beef with Olamide if I ever meet him. I'm like, how dare you? That is going to be so. My absolute favorite was or is Julie. Then other favorites are Need for Speed, Rock, Somebody, and Petty. Petty is the bonus track on the album. So I loved those 5 tracks on the album. Yeah.
All right. What about you, Veracity?
Okay, so I don't have one favorite one. I have 3 of them.
Okay.
Let me mention them in this particular order. Of course, Rock came out first, and I totally love Rock.
You were rocking the song.
I took Rock. I totally love that track. But aside Rock, I have 3 other songs that I like. One of them is Julie. Toby loves Julie. I think we kind of share the same sentiment here. I love Julie. I love it so. I don't just know what I love about the song, but first time I listened to the song, I was like, oh my god, this is my favorite. And so much more. That one that sounded a bit like reggae. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It was
that's a good one too.
Different thing. I love that one so much. And of course, the bonus track, that was the real Olamide we used to know way back then before he transformed. Those are my favorite.
All right, I think it's safe to say that Julie is probably one of the favorite songs and one of the best songs on the album. It's almost like everybody's favorite. But one thing I kind of noticed about the song that I feel might have drawn people to the song is the fact that if you listen to the song very well, it has a similar instrumental to that of this Egyptian song. Baby, come let me love ya. Although the chord projection was a little bit different, but then again it had a similar ton 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 and stuff like that. So I feel like that was something that might have drawn people closer. But for me, Julie is one of my favorite songs. Need for Speed also is one of my favorite songs, but I feel like my favorite song so far was the one Veracity mentioned, which is this So Much More. I mean, I don't know. I love that song. When I was listening to that song, I feel like, wait, is this Olamide or is this Two-Face? Because I never expected Olamide to do something like that. This fact that the song was actually talking about ladies. Did you guys notice that majority of the song on this album was much more about love and ladies?
Yeah, it's a love song album. Apart from Need for Speed talking about his struggle, every other song was a love song and talking about love and ladies and stuff.
So for me, one of my favorite songs, like I said, is So Much More. Another song that I love has to be the one with what's her name? Layydoe, Rough Up. I mean, I love that song also. One thing I like about this album basically has to be the featured artists, except from Phyno, that we already know what he's capable of doing. But these other artists are new artists that we do a lot with. 99% of us don't even
anything about them.
And that's one impressive thing about Olamide. He started doing this since early last year when he released his 999 EP, where he featured artists we don't even know. I mean, it takes a lot of guts for a known artist to feature an unknown artist on not just on a single but on your album. It speaks a lot about the confidence that you have. And every single person on this album, like this to say, they understood the assignments and they gave it straight A's. I mean, it was straight A's. For me personally, I don't feel like there's any bad song on the album. I
support too. Yeah.
I feel like the only letdown on the album is the fact that the album didn't contain much song. We couldn't enjoy it longer. Aside from the fact that it didn't contain much song, most of the songs were not beyond 2 minutes and 30 something and 40 something seconds. They were not the usual long song of Olamide that we used to expect. But all in all, let's try and come to a conclusion and let's try and wrap it up. So I'll start with you, Veracity. Let me just throw this question at you. So all in all, what would you say about the Olamide album, and if you are to rate it over 10, what rating are you going to give it?
Okay, so the fact that so much more had kind of patriarchy feeling, that
Mm-hmm.
one made me love it. Like love that one. For that song, I'll give it like 10. For me, it's a 10. But for the full album, I think because there's one song I actually like have a problem with. That might actually reduce the mark.
Okay, what song is that?
The song I have issue with is the one he did with Phyno. I mean,
Okay.
like these are two known artists, like big names in the Nigerian music industry. Like for me personally, I expected so much more. Pino had his kind of vibe on it, but Olamide had kind of like MI's vibe. I'm not saying MI is not cool, but not MI is the kind of like cool guy, just doing his cool rap and everything. It's not like Olamide who is everywhere. But singing that song, I was like, wait, are you sure this is Olamide doing rap with Phyno on this song? For me, that song will not really go anywhere. It's just like, oh, let's not like be too partial. Let's say 5 or 4.5. Sha. That song for me was just like off. So for me, for the full album, I'll just give it a 9. 9 is okay because Olamide actually came out like brought a whole different vibe, brought a whole different Olamide.
Okay, so Veracity is going to give it a 9 over 10. What about you, Toby?
General thoughts on the album now.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very good album. I love that it's very mid-tempo, you know, not too much shouting and all that. I also love that the album had this like love theme and all that, and Need for Speed is actually a very good introduction for the album because the thing with telling us about his journey and stuff,
journey.
you know, yeah,
Mhm.
he made valid points there, and the thing where trying to chase his dreams, but Lagos traffic slow him down. I mean, I'm in Lagos now. I feel it. I can relate. I can totally relate. So, the title of the album, UY Scuti, I actually checked it out. UY Scuti is a sort of is a star in the galaxy, a very rare star, and I think Olamide is trying to show us that he started somewhere. He has actually like gone through a journey and evolved a lot, and now he's in a space where he's comfortable and he's able to shine like a star, and I think he delivered that in this album. It was really, really perfect, you know. The thing is, final rating, I'm going to say 9.5 over 10. The other half I'm going to reserve is for when I'm going to meet Olamide and question him about Julie being less than 2 minutes. It was just 1 minute 50 something seconds. So that is the only reservation I have about the album. Apart from that, it was a very beautiful album and I love it.
Okay, I mean, for me, one of the things I like about the album has to be the production of the album, and which is why it is painful for me that I tried so much as I could, to get the list of producers on the album, and I couldn't. I needed to give them their proper shout out. I mean, every production on that album was lit. Every producers came through. So shout out to everyone that worked on the album. You guys did a perfect job. And now there was something Toby, there was something you said, about the change in Olamide's sound and how he has been able to evolve, and which is something I kind of, I accept well on this album, because a lot of people, when his last album dropped, which was Carpe Diem, when it dropped, a lot of people felt like, oh, maybe it was Olamide just being lucky enough. And a lot of people had this conversation of, oh, there were songs like Triumphant that has to do with the streets and all that, so that made people, to enjoy the album and all that. But I think with this album, Olamide has tried to show us that, this is now the new Olamide sound that you are going to get, that you are going to be getting. So it's either you get used to it, or you just, get anything that you want to get. You have to give credit to Olamide. I think it came through on this one. And I also have to agree with Veracity on the song with Phyno. Not like the song was bad, but yeah, in comparison to every other song on the album, I also feel like that is like one of the, let's just say the weak link on the album. But aside from that, the album is a beautiful album. Olamide did, a fantastic job. And from my own end, I'm definitely going to give the album a 9 over 10. Olamide's album has a general rating of 9 over 10 from me, 9.5 from Toby, and also 9 from Veracity. So all in all, I feel like that is a perfect fitting for a perfect album. So guys, I just want to say thank you very, very
Yeah.
much for being on the podcast with me. Thank you very much for doing this. I mean, I'm so honored to have two amazing podcasters on my podcast. Hey, I don't blow.
You're welcome. And we would
Blow.
love to do this again. It was fun.
Trust me,
Yeah,
I was
like
love to do this. Before I allow you girls go, please just do a quick introduction about your podcast and how the listeners can get to listen to it. Let me start with Veracity.
my name is Veracity. Yeah, I host the Veracity podcast. That's cruise. Not that we take everything for granted, but we just try to like catch cruise in this very serious country. So my handle is at Veracity_pod on Instagram and on Twitter. Check out my podcast on every other platform you get your podcast. You're gonna see the Veracity podcast. Thank you.
All right, Toby.
So, guys, my podcast is My Name is Toby Podcast. And on the podcast, I just talk about my life experiences. I share personal stories. I talk about opinions and thoughts. And then it's not just your regular, it's basically a storytelling podcast, though, just storytelling in the most chilled out way and in the most interesting way possible. So yeah, you can find My Name is Toby podcast on any podcast platform, basically Anchor, Google Podcast, Apple, anywhere you listen to your podcast. On social media, my personal handles on Facebook, I'm Toby Chukwu Ude Abe. Twitter and Instagram, I'm Toby Ude, and that's like everything there is to it. I'm not on any other social media platform. Listen to my podcast and give your feedback. I would love to listen to you.
Yeah, that would be very nice.
Olamide, if you're listening, I love you. 100%, I love you. Olamide, if you're listening,
All right, thank you once again for being here. I really appreciate the both of you. It's been fun, and I hope that we can do this again. So till I come here with another episode of the Chacha album review series of the Chacha Music Review Podcast, which is now being brought to you by Absolute Media, the number one online media and digital marketing agency. My name still remains Hafeestonova, aka your musical plug, creator of the Energy Force. Remember, the Chacha Music Review Podcast is amplifying the African sound by bringing the best of African music to your ears. Peace out.
Two time for the cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. Rockin' with the best, the cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. Layydoe cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. What's in my body, cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang, cha-cha gang.